Everyone.
Guys, we're coming to the end of a busy day. Today's
Yes.
been a monster marathon.
We're not done yet, though.
Nope,
We got
a few
some
more
more to do.
film. We've probably done, what, 6 already today?
We've done 6. We're going to do probably a couple more.
Which for us is kind of a couple of weeks worth of videos.
It is, yeah. Well, you had a little delivery this morning from the Strixon staff.
Lovely little visit from the Strixon team to drop off the brand new 85 range, the 785 drivers, the 785 irons, 585 irons.
Just everything, right? They gave us everything.
Hybrids, fairways. So the embargo was lifted today, which we were really keen to talk to you guys about it. We've been looking forward to this one for a while. So yeah, it was neat.
I think it was a little inspirational. We had some videos planned for today. I know people will be wondering. I think we kind of teased that we're going to do some putting stuff.
I know.
We were.
We were.
But then a bunch of cool stuff showed up, and we thought, you know what? Let's just do something else.
Well, it coincided with a pretty cool
Yes.
contest that we've got going on. So
How much are you going to tell people about that?
yeah,
Just a teaser.
Just a teaser. Well, you guys, we do these landmark sort of milestones of subscription, and we done it. What did we do? A 5. What did we do? 5,000.
5.
No, we done 2,500.
25.
5,000.
5,000 and 10.
10,000.
Yeah.
And we're going to do another contest at 25,000.
25, yeah.
Which we should sort of hit around the turn of the year.
Yeah, we are on pace, I think, to get there with, if we don't do anything exciting like we're going to do, we'd probably get there just after New Year's or something like that. I think with what we've got to announce, again, we're not going to tell you yet because that would just be ruining the surprise.
Yeah,
but
we're going to launch that video tonight.
Tonight, yeah, well, depends on what time we get out of here. Yeah.
Tonight, stroke tomorrow.
If it's before midnight, then yes. Yeah, with what we've got coming up, which is like the prize of a lifetime, I think we'll hopefully hit that 25K before Christmas. We're joking that the prize will be sort of an ultimate Christmas gift for somebody.
Yeah.
And it'll be a hell of a Christmas gift.
As good as it gets is,
if someone buys you a better Christmas gift than that, you should hang on to that person like grim death.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're definitely excited about that. It is going to be some, we'll let you know that, for example, this is in the prize package. That's as much as we'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you anything else. But this is not all. So we'll leave it at that for now. Hopefully before, 11 p.m. Eastern, I'll post the little contest video we filmed earlier. But it's outrageously good. Yeah. Like outrageously good.
Yeah, it's good.
I might make another YouTube account and enter myself.
Absolutely.
Little alias.
I know. I think I've already seen a few messages on our Patreon about burner accounts.
John Smith, maybe?
Yeah.
John Smith from Toronto.
Exactly. So why don't we jump on, take a few questions.
Yeah,
We've got probably 30 odd minutes here.
Yeah, we're going to do a few more videos tonight, but we're here to answer a few questions. Well, let's give them a little teaser. So Juan's asking how the new driver, 785 driver, which is in my hand, how does it stack up against other offerings from the Big Four? So we filmed a review for that today. We tested it against my Ping G400 LST.
Yep.
I think, I don't want to tell people too much. It's good, and I think it will keep up with what we've seen from other drivers. I think you were probably pleasantly surprised too. It was good, right?
Yeah.
Like it was quite fast on ball speed.
Thought it was pretty good in ball speed. I was really pleased with the acoustics on it.
Yeah, it sounded nice.
I thought the look of it was nice. Lots of innovation and tech in there. I like where they're going with it. They've kind of through the R&D team in Japan. They really have done a good job. Cup face technology. They've got the carbon crown, a nice adjustable sleeve. Lots of good stuff going on. So yeah, we'll have that video probably out this week.
Oh yeah, it'll be up this week.
Yeah, it'll be up this week. So
100%.
It's a good driver, guys. It's a good driver for sure.
You won't be disappointed with it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I missed a good question here. Let me go back up.
Well, Brooke, why in the bag?
Yeah, we talked about it.
We actually did talk about that. We're trying to remember amongst all the videos that we've done whether we've
done it.
Because when she won earlier in the year, I'm fairly sure the same week we done a PGA Tour why in the bag. We also done Brooke, but we couldn't see it in our playlist.
I think maybe you did it on Instagram or something. I know we've talked about it, but
she deserves one after such an incredible win. I mean,
I know, it was cool.
She made the country very proud yesterday. You know, a lot of pressure on her shoulder, like any golfer playing in their home national open.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, I think if you probably asked her deep down, that's probably her you know, career highlight today. I know she's got a major under her belt, but there's something very special when in front of your home fans.
Yeah, the Golf Channel, I think, explained it well. Like, it's, you know, Canadians like golf a lot. There's a lot of people that play golf here, considering the population isn't that big.
Yeah.
So for her to win that, it wasn't a joke. Like, there's people were going nuts, running after her in the fairways and stuff like that. I mean, that's not common for that tour, I don't think.
You know, one thing as a non-Canadian that I've noticed since I moved here.
Ah, you're a Canadian.
Basically. But the Canadians are, you know, feverishly patriotic.
Yeah.
They, you know, if anything is made in Canada, Canadians are way more likely to buy it.
It's true.
You know, so when one of their own wins their national open, it's massive news. So the whole, like I was walking over from our other store today with a box of clubs, and someone stopped me because they obviously could see I was a golfer, I had golf clubs, and wanted to talk about it.
I know.
You know, Brooke Henderson, amazing. So, you know, it's got everyone's attention. Yeah, it's nice. Good for Brooke.
Okay, this was a good question. So 100-mile-an-hour swing, I'm assuming with the driver.
Yeah.
Is it odd for the 3-wood to go further than the driver? Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely odd.
But there's a reason, I'm sure.
Yeah, you're sure, probably a few different reasons, but certainly for that type of player, you're most likely a bit steep. That's the player that we see hits their 3-wood a little bit further. So the loft is kind of, as the club is being de-lofted a little bit, it's actually at the appropriate spin loft.
Yep.
So it's all about just go get fit for the right driver. You're just not in the right driver right now.
Yeah, you're getting better launch conditions from a 3-wood than a driver.
Also, a couple of things with your driver, being the club that we can tee up a little bit higher, really work hard on your angle of attack. Try and kind of, you know, if you do tend to get a bit steep, try and kind of make sure you've got enough kind of spine tilt at address. Make sure the ball is teed a fraction higher, the ball is a touch higher forward in your stance, and really work hard in trying to catch that ball in the upswing, and then you'll take advantage of the lower loft, higher launch, less spin.
Very good point. Okay. Okay, this is a good question. So 115-mile-an-hour swing speed, peak height 145 with a driver. It's obviously very, very high. Using a G400 Max. Asking about a shaft recommendation, but I know that you're not going to give this person a shaft recommendation because it won't help enough.
I wouldn't want to waste your money for you.
Yeah.
You're in the wrong head.
Yeah, or loft at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, unless you're like, so that's you, isn't it? So about 115 or so mile an hour, 115 to 120 mile an hour.
Yep.
You know, you need to be hitting quite a bit on the upswing with low dynamic loft for that G400 Max to work for you, which is what you do. So that's why it was a contender for you.
Right.
Brad, I would honestly say try something with a little bit less static loft and have the DNA of a further forward CG, something that's going to fly, you know, a little bit flatter for you.
M3 or something like that?
Something like an M3, Rogue Sub-Zero, even G400 LS Tech. Depends if you kind of are okay with the club sitting a bit open.
Yeah, sure.
That goes down to 8.5. So those would be the three that would flatten your flight out a little bit, but yet you're not going to make a big dent in it with a shaft.
All right. Good question. We get this a lot. Ping wedge review that we did. Cast versus forged heads. Is there a difference in the wear and tear? Like, is a cast wedge going to last longer than a forged wedge?
Well, one thing Ping at times will get criticised for is when they do a forged club, it's not forged like a Mura or even like a Strixon.
Okay.
Right? So, you know, forged is relative. So it's still, Ping are always conscious of longevity when they make a club. So one of the reasons that Ping has a more dull finish is that, you know, it ages better than you know, a club with a kind of shiny finish. So it doesn't kind of lose its luster.
Right.
So you know, I think that Ping is one of the companies that you're going to be okay getting lots of longevity out of that head because they don't make soft
Does make
metals.
sense, yeah. The Callaway Sub-Zero Fairway wood. Yes, we've tested it, but we didn't make a video about it. Oh, where did my question go? Just asking.
Other questions, good for you guys.
Tons of questions. Sorry,
Brilliant.
guys. I'm losing you and scrolling. Yeah, the Callaway Sub-Zero Fairway wood. Well, how's it done in your fits?
Great, really like it. Really like it. So a little bit more of a neutral bias to the head. The standard rogue is fairly draw bias. So a lot of our customers who maybe fade it a little more than they want, the standard rogue rotates a little bit.
Yeah.
I use the 15-degree Sub-Zero a lot as a really neutral, hot, fairly flat flying 3-wood.
Yep.
I get great results with that 15-degree.
Nice.
Will absolutely love it.
We're going to answer this one from Courtney about single length irons. Yes, we have had a little bit of progress. We sent Cobra a little message.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we've done. I personally have done a bit of testing on it before, but
have you? Okay.
this was pre our channel when single length first came out. I kind of done my own due diligence into the concept and took a look at it. So I won't kind of spoil. Some of you may know my feelings. I think I may have spoke on it before on maybe what we done a why in the bag for Bryson.
We chatted about it.
Yeah, after he won, I think it was at Memorial.
Yeah, Memorial. So we're going to try to do some testing.
We're going to do some testing. I think it's worthwhile us having it. It's
100%. We get lots of questions about it, and I think people are curious. Obviously, he's playing well with it. So we're going to try to get the same 2 iron sets, just one single length, one
same set of
traditional.
heads, traditional set makeup and single length.
Yeah. So probably not tomorrow, but we'll be doing it at some point in the future.
Definitely.
So this is a question we get a lot as well, is a set gap wedge versus I guess like a Voki or something like that. We're going to do a video on that for sure at some point.
Good, yeah. No, that's a good topic.
We're going to try to get some 46-degree Vokis, and we talked about that too. Because we get the question, pitching wedge versus Voki 46. Why do you do one or the other?
Yeah.
That's on our list too.
Yep. I mean, so we just finished a little teaser as well. We just finished a gapping session with Matt, and and I actually saw a little bit of that in your session. Your Voki 50 to your Strixon pitching wedge. There was a little bit of a gap
Definitely
there,
a gap.
and it was a bit of a jump. So actually in my mind, it's like, okay, Matt needs a 49, he needs this 50 strengthened a little bit just to make sure it's
absolutely
gapping appropriately. So yeah, it's difficult at times, and I think that to that question, is why we do so well for kind of good to intermediate players. Ping Glide has been excellent for us. From the higher handicappers, we've done really well with the Cleveland CBX. Slightly wider sole, 50 degrees is the gap wedge, has been a really good one for us.
Right. Getting a lot of questions about this My Golf Spy TrueFit thing. Have you seen this thing yet?
Do you know what? I haven't looked into it
I looked
in
at it
depth.
briefly.
I mean, I know obviously of the concept of what they're trying to do. What's going on?
I think at the moment it's sort of a questionnaire base. You enter answers to a bunch of questions about your handicap, your ball flight, and stuff like that, and it will recommend based on the database what heads might be good for you.
Right.
I think they just launched it. I'm sure they're looking to expand it further.
I mean, as a concept, I'm sure those guys know what they're doing. As a concept, that's not new though. I've not, I've done this for a long time with coaches and people that I'm, very close with. So they will send me their students. I'll give them a questionnaire. They'll send me back their numbers. We'll have a little back and forward on email, and we'll come up with a pretty solid formula. The guys at My Golf Spy have obviously a significant database.
It's all
of
automated,
testing.
basically.
Oh,
it's an automated thing.
automated.
Yeah. So what you're talking about would be, I guess, the more hands-on approach to it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to knock what the guys are doing. I don't know. I don't know it well enough yet.
Launched, yeah.
I think automated's a problem. Personally, because it takes away the human element of which is always so important in these things. I guess time will tell.
Time will tell. I think from what I read, they plan to sort of beef up the process somewhat. But I see what you're saying. I mean, if there's only so much you're going to get from questionnaire, you need to see someone's golf swing and you need to see someone's TrackMan numbers to actually say, okay, this is probably what you should be using.
Club fitting's not black and white.
No.
Club fitting isn't, I'm going to give you a stiffer shaft, the ball's going to go lower. It's going to do this, what you think it's going to do. A lot of the time, it can have the opposite effect of what you think. So unless you're able to sort of, make those adjustments in the moment. I still think, that may be, if you don't have something, close by from a fitting perspective, that might be a phenomenal option.
I think that's probably what they're marketing it as, is
Right.
it's someone's not going for a fitting, this is their kind of option.
And maybe they may have marketed it that way, I'm not sure.
We're probably not the best ones to ask. We haven't looked at it that much.
Yep.
Are we going to travel to the US of A? Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Sooner than we
Pretty soon,
initially thought.
hoping to get down there in November.
We got a little trip in the works.
Yep.
Probably won't say too much about it because it's not confirmed yet,
Yep.
but we're hoping to come down the first week. Well, what am I saying? We've said plenty about it. We already said we were coming to Orlando, didn't we?
Yeah.
We're coming to Orlando. I forgot. We already did a little teaser about it. Yeah, we're hoping to come to Orlando, first couple weeks in November?
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Do we answer questions or only on Patreon? No, we answer questions here all the time. And we answer your comments
Scott,
too.
when you say do they answer questions, do you mean right here, right now, or do you mean, are you asking if you send us questions to the company, will we answer them? Maybe give us a follow-up on what you mean by that.
I mean, we certainly answer pretty much every comment on videos. So no, we're not. Patreon is not like the only place that we answer people. It's just
Patreon is
other stuff on there.
and Patreon is good for us. We actually get a bit more personal on Patreon with our diamond. Was it platinum and diamond?
Platinum and diamond basically can send in. Well, they send them directly to you. Actually, they're sending in TrackMan or GC Quad numbers and your swing kind of profile, and saying, Ian, I'm looking for a new driver. These are my numbers. Help me out. That's what we're doing there. But if someone has a generic question, we certainly answer it on there as well.
Yeah, I will say, guys, we are obviously, we're unbelievably busy.
Yeah, it's not.
And we don't have a platform where everyone can send in their full, club fitting scenario, and we have an opportunity to break that down for you. Unfortunately, I wish we could. That's just a time thing. We're just time's against us. We're in our peak season.
Yep.
We're all super busy, as you guys know.
All right, let's get into some other ones. What we got? I don't know what I'm looking at here. How often should you get a fitting? That's an interesting question.
18 handicap fitted it.
Oh, okay, so based on your improvement, if you're improving quite a bit, someone's improved significantly, would they want to come in and get refit necessarily? I guess it depends on the person, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, 18 to 12, and 12 to 6, if you look at that 6-shot progression, or 6-stroke progression from a handicap perspective, you want to definitely get a checkup at least, make sure your equipment isn't hindering your ability to develop the swing, make sure that, if you're increasing your swing speed or if your shot pattern has changed a little bit. Maybe the clubs that you had at 18 handicap were designed to sort of eliminate a certain shot, and now as you're progressing into lower handicap golfer, you need the ability to be a bit more creative and shape your shots a little more. So working with a fitter that you trust and someone who's knowledgeable will certainly help you with that.
Okay. Thank you. It is a nice shirt. It's a Grayson shirt. Grayson is not a big company. A few guys on tour wear it. Morgan Hoffman wears it. Drawing a blank, but on some other guys. But yeah, it's nice stuff. Got about a few shirts you'll probably see in the next few weeks. What is the average price of drivers you fit to your customers? It's a good question. It would go both ways, right? Because it would depend on whether they're going with a shaft that's offered through the manufacturer's stock offering, or if they go custom.
Exactly. So you standard off the shelf pricing. Obviously, for the price of the club, if you want to get an OEM, driver. So for example, some of the popular ones in Canada, at least, an M4 is $530, a G400's $599, a TaylorMade Callaway about $629, something like that. That's the price of a stock driver, and then
Canadian, we should say.
Canadian, yeah, and then obviously into the aftermarket world behind us here. If you want to get fitted into something there, the price range will be $150 up to TPT, which is our most expensive, around $650. Yeah.
Yes, Ian is Scottish. He's worked for TaylorMade.
TaylorMade, yep. That was my background, working for TaylorMade back in the UK. What started at the very base sort of level as just a rep, a tech rep, club fitter, and best training ground. I could never wish to have a better training ground. I'm so fortunate to have done that and traveling up and down the country, Scotland and Ireland and England, and doing all that sort of stuff. I met so many great people, saw every type of swing under the sun.
Yeah, I bet.
Then progressing into the performance centre near Edinburgh, so got a chance to sort of run a performance centre, but also work with tour pros. So we used to work with a bunch of tour pros there. Then started a performance lab down at Turnberry. So again, worked with all sorts of different type of people. It was at the time it was the Colin Montgomery Golf Academy, so Monty used to come down a lot.
Oh, and, you mentioned that. That's right.
Yeah.
Some good stories about him.
Do some fits with Monty, which was he's the most fun guy.
Yeah, you had some good. I think people think he's like a grouchy guy. It sounds. I've heard that before.
The
that he's
most
actually a good
entertaining guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's so funny. He's so lighthearted. And on the golf course, he's clocked in. He's working. So at times you can have a different, we see that with some of these guys, but honestly, truthfully, a nicer guy you could not meet.
That's interesting.
Yep.
My background is I'm just the cameraman.
He's more than the cameraman.
And I answer these questions. That's my background.
Secret tour pro.
Yeah, on Twitter. I really want to know who that is.
Yeah.
Really do. I'm sure everyone does. The cut golf balls, no. We should send them a little message and get some of those. We've heard that. Where are they from?
Never even heard of it. Today is the first day I've ever heard of cut golf ball.
No, I've heard of them.
Cut golf ball.
What's the matter with you? No, seriously, there's a company.
Is it really called Cut?
I swear.
Have they ever sold any?
I don't know. We'll send them a little Instagram message. Maybe they'll send us some. I have heard of it. Yes, I have heard of it. Yes, this is a good idea. PGA Tour players that do not have a contract for clubs. Yeah, it would probably be tough to get them on the phone or on video if that's what you're asking, Andre, but I think it would be cool we did it for Patrick Reed because he doesn't have a contract. We did his why in the bag, but we could do a little series on people that don't. There's not that many guys left.
Well, I enjoyed obviously when I was working with Gary Woodland last year. I mean, Gary didn't have a contract with anyone, and he was a free agent, and he and I had many discussions. Walked 2 practice rounds with him at the Canadian Open last year, and a lot of the time we kind of spent walking there was about his thoughts on contracts and non-contracts and his freedom to play the product that worked in it, because we at the time, we were looking at drivers with him, and he's playing a TaylorMade driver, but he's like, I'm not tied to this. If you think there's something better, but he happened to hit the TaylorMade stuff great. So it was good. His thoughts were very insightful on it from a player's perspective.
Really?
Not just thinking at it from a dollars standpoint, endorsements and stuff,
Very cool. Greg, yes, I do still see Sean Clement. Actually, just went to see him last weekend. I visited him in Quebec. He's doing well.
Sean Clement, for most of you probably know who Sean Clement is if you're an avid YouTube follower, but if not, Wisdom in Golf. Check out the great work Sean does. Very insightful.
He's been doing it since 2007. I've known him pretty much the whole time. I just went to see him, filmed a whole bunch of videos at his new course. It's very nice. He's doing well. Sorry, this is a good one here. What driver do you recommend if you're launching it way too high and too much spin? Good question.
Launching at 20 degrees with 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs of spin. I think we've seen this year the lowest spin head this year by far for me is the M3. Yeah. 8.5.
Weights forward kind of thing.
2 weights forward in the head. I mean, if you're a decent player, who's sent that question? Tim, if you're a fairly low handicap and you can sort of, rely on your strike location to be pretty centered, you could even try the smaller head, the 440. Potentially, and again, smaller, more condensed.
Cam's been using that, hasn't he? The 440.
Yeah, so if you're someone who's really trying to eliminate some spin, that's a good one.
Okay, really good quick question from Aaron. He's a 14 handicap. Should you carry a 3-wood and a 5-wood? I think he should carry a 4-wood.
Yeah, I mean, depends
even
on
just a
how,
5-wood.
how far the driver goes.
Yeah.
So if the driver goes 220, and you're trying to fit 2 more woods in there, but hybrid goes, 190. You probably don't, you may not have room for 2 fairway woods in there, and like you say, maybe a 4-wood's good.
Yeah.
Or if the driver goes 240, then you can probably have a 3-wood at 220 and a 5-wood at 205, and then build your set from there. So it really depends how much space you've got, guys. The key to having the right set makeup is all about how far does the furthest one go, how far does the shortest one go, and then we'll gap you appropriately along the way, and we'll take into consideration certain needs, ball flight needs. Are you a low ball hitter? Okay, so we need the fairway wood head with the wider body, shallower head to get the ball elevated. All these things are case to case. That's why we have such an extensive demo matrix here, so we have a solution for every problem we encounter.
Yeah, you've got that question quite a bit in the set composition video you did with Mikey that time. I think that was the punchline was you can't just say you're a 10 handicap, carry a 3-wood and a 5-wood, or sorry, you're a 0. You have to kind of come in and see what your yardages are.
Right.
I lost the question I wanted to ask. This is a good one. Has there been much of a change in the last few years in 3-woods, primarily off the tee? So do you think, are the 3-woods in the last couple of years, are they starting to get longer? Are they lowering the spin? Like what do you see as the kind of the technology
probably
advances?
the first one, probably the first one that kind of catapulted 3-wood into the consumer's thought was probably when TaylorMade launched RBZ, the rocket balls, a few years ago. So they obviously had the slot technology in the bottom, and really creating downward flex of the face in order to kind of launch the ball and spin it a little bit less. And the 3-wood was going further than ever. So that since then, I think the 3-wood has become like a little mini driver almost for a lot of guys.
Yeah.
If you look at the ball speed efficiency relative to club head speed, they're almost as efficient as drivers. You just don't swing them as quick because you've got a 2-inch shorter golf club. So they're extremely quick nowadays. Callaway obviously chasing maximum ball speed this year with theirs, putting jailbreak into theirs.
And those are sweet, aren't they?
Yeah, really good. So yeah, the 3-woods are so hot nowadays.
Okay. What else can we do? I'm just going to do a few more here, guys. Is it possible to buy heads only when upgrading to the latest model driver?
No.
Right?
So we don't sell heads only.
Does anyone do that?
Unless you go to a component account, if you go to one of this like the Malt Bay sort of sites, or
yeah, but not like
somewhere
you're not getting a ping head on its own. You can't just buy a ping head on its own.
No, definitely you can't go buy a set of ping heads from Ping. You got to. I think the key with all this stuff is always it's go get fit, that type of thing, and yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Where did I go? Here? Did I lose it?
No, it's okay.
Why do they? Okay, this is a good question actually. So, tour players generally playing higher lofted clubs now than they used to. Why do you think that is? They've been lower spin heads lately. And, like the technology's gotten a little bit less spin anyway. They don't need lower loft.
Playing higher lofts right now. I haven't seen that.
No, okay.
No, I don't think so. I think golf ball evolution has probably played a pretty big part in lofts coming up a little bit, so the ball spins a bit less than it used to.
Right.
So maybe that's it, but I haven't seen.
Not a big trend. Well,
no.
Probably over. It's probably not the last few years. It must be a longer period of time.
Yeah, a longer period of time. If that's what we're looking at, quite a long period of time, 1000% is the ball.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I think we talked about that a little bit recently
when
we were doing some golf ball testing. How the ball influences the head design influences the shaft design, and it's kind of that domino effect.
Gotcha. Dave's bread. What is your bread? I'm not sure, Dave. Nice weird one for you. Thank you. 8 handicap moving to a bladed iron. Interesting.
Would it be wise to move to bladed iron to lower
handicap?
Handicap, more game improvement. I mean,
It's hard to say, isn't it?
It depends really kind of what the strengths and weaknesses of your game are, and whether that's something you think are going to make an improvement. You know, averaging 64% greens in regulation most rounds. Well,
That's pretty good.
yeah, I mean, you're probably not that far off tour
It's like
average.
12 greens.
It's a lot of greens. Yeah,
It's about 12,
pretty much.
11 and a half.
So you're okay. I mean,
I don't see how someone starting to play blades. He's got I-200s now. It's a good iron.
great iron.
I don't see why you're going to hit more greens with blades.
I would definitely not say you'll hit more.
I have a
greens with
friend that
blades.
you guys have seen on the channel, Paul, who we had in for a fitting. He plays I-200s. He hits a lot of greens and hits the ball really well. He's like a plus handicap. He hits those really nicely. I don't think that you would want to move away from them if you're hitting them well. Yes, we are going to implement the Gears club fitting system. In fact, it is imminent.
Yeah, we're really excited about this. I mean,
Yeah.
every video we do, you know, I see a different way in which we could spin a video and kind of, you know, dig a little deeper into what we're actually looking at through Gears and
Yep.
all the things it measures. I mean, I feel like, you know, our world is going to become, you know, 4D once we get Gears.
Sure.
You know, right now
That's a good
we
way of
see
putting it.
3D ball flight, but you know, we're going to see it in another dimension.
What happened? Oh, there we go. Okay, let's do a couple more because we
Okay.
got some videos to
Yeah.
shoot. Steel iron shafts will be replaced by graphite in the next 7 to 10 years. I think that they'll be gaining some market share, but
Maybe.
not replacing.
I don't see it. I really don't see it. I mean, I think in another video we talked a little bit about this, but so I moved to Canada, seven years ago, and at that time we'd introduced a few graphite shafts into the store and steel fiber, UST recoil a little bit after that. Actually, Aldila Rip made an iron shaft at the time.
Oh, okay. Yep.
115 gram, which is pretty strong. What else did we have? We had some Fujikura. And I think at that time, a lot of people were kind of really mentioning, oh, you know, steel's probably we're going to see less of it. We're going to see more graphite. That peaked around 2015, 2016. There was Graham McDowell, Zach Johnson, Snedeker, Kuchar, who still, you know, obviously plays steel fiber. But there was a bunch of guys at that time playing graphite. And it kind of, you know, they kind of went away from it again. So it had a little bit, and then
Kind of a bit of a
they went
spike,
away.
and now it's going away, isn't it?
I think, I mean, it depends. It depends how the bend profiles and the evolution of the shaft design, you know, goes. But I don't see it significantly eating into the
It's going to be a
iron
while,
shaft
right?
market.
It's going to be a long time before that happens.
I think there has to be some serious benefit. Right now, there isn't a serious benefit to it.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, unless you can, you know, right now they can manipulate the bend profile more on a graphite shaft than you can a steel. We talked about material sort of the ability to manipulate the material, just being lighter and stronger in graphite. But what does that actually mean? Does you know the iron head maybe would have to change a little bit?
Yeah, true.
You know,
Especially
I don't
for
see it
tour, we're
happening.
talking about tour use too. I mean, it's very different than someone you fit. I
Yeah.
think you'll see more people getting fit to graphite, like your customers.
Yeah.
But they're not tour players.
One of the things with these guys on tour is they, you know, what they basically start out with, they don't change away from too much. They don't stray too much from what got them there.
Right.
You know, Tiger Woods, take that as the perfect example. Like, you know, Tiger played X100s as an amateur. He still plays X100s.
true.
Tiger, you know, played whiteboard in his driver at the height of his career. What did he try and go back to this week?
I know.
More of a whiteboard profile. Like these guys, I mean, trust me, and I've worked with enough of them. These guys are very, very difficult to move them out of what they're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was working with DA Points is a perfect example. You know, fit him into a new set of irons, new set of shafts from what he'd been using.
Right.
First day he played with them, he shot 64 at Isleworth, hit 17 out of 18 greens in regulation, and the only green he didn't hit is because he drove it in the trees and he couldn't hit the green.
Right, physically.
So, you know, played absolutely lights out. He then messages me, you know, a couple of weeks later, you know, not getting on with the clubs, don't feel like my old ones. Well, the point wasn't to make them feel like the old ones.
Yeah.
The point was to elevate your performance, not kind of maintain your performance,
Yeah, yeah.
trying to get better.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's sometimes the struggle working with these better players is trying to kind of get them away from, and his argument as well, I've won multiple times on tour. well, that's good, but that doesn't mean you're the same player as when you won multiple times. You know, we all change and evolve a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's a good little anecdote there. You actually said something about this today.
It's good, yeah.
Best time of year to get fitted.
Jared, that's a great question. I love this time of year to get fit because you're kind of, your game is as good as it's going to really be at any point of the season. You've played a ton of golf. You know what's working in the bag and what's not working.
Yep.
So, you know, the spring is the time that most people go get fitted. We tend to find our busiest months are March, April, May. But honestly, right now, at the back end of the year, I really encourage people to look at clubs this time of year. Early in the season, you can still be shaking off the rust, the winter rust off the swing.
People are mostly just afraid of the fact that the PGA Show's in January, and it's like, oh, if I get this club, is it going to get replaced?
Yeah.
But aside from that, your actual fitting quality and experience is probably going to be best in like August, September for a seasonal golfer.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have to have the latest and greatest kind of stuff.
I would agree, for sure.
Quick question, because we were talking about Orlando. We got this quite a bit. So we talked about it briefly, these TXG sessions we're going to do. They're not going to be, it's not Ian traveling somewhere and doing our fitting sessions with people. We're going to do sort of kind of a group dynamics.
Yeah, kind of like a club fitting workshop.
Yeah, a little workshop seminar kind of thing. We will have time to talk with each individual person about their bag and help them with recommendations, but they're not, they're not hour-long fitting sessions on GC Quad and stuff like that.
We're not taking the matrix,
No.
the demo matrix on tour, that type of thing. You know, we want to spend time with all the participants individually, and let's discuss the bag. Let's identify the problem areas. Let's watch you hit a few shots. Okay, make some suggestions and start to talk about how we can, make a more balanced setup in the bag. There'll be more of that stuff going on rather than taking everything we have with us.
Yeah, and then we'll have an aspect of you taking a lot of Q&A in person.
A lot of
talking
Q&A.
about your experiences. We'll do some demos with different, different clubs and stuff that we have.
We'll show some kind of neat things that we've found over the last 8 months, doing these tests, and we'll show you guys some of the variables that basically, are the reasons why certain things happen in the course, why flyers happen, what you're likely to see when, with certain things. So, yeah.
Very cool. Someone just sent us a little GIF, which is nice. Thank you, Matt. When someone tries to murder the ball every time, sounds like me, comes over the top a bit. With thinner irons possibly help slow down and make me concentrate more on ball striking. So basically, if you're coming over the top, a lot of force in the swing, a thicker iron design versus a blade iron design. Is there any influence that way?
No, I wouldn't. No, definitely not. I mean, you're certainly going to feel the pressure of this, of the miss hit a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I hear that a lot. Should I go to a smaller set of irons, because that will obviously be less forgiving and it'll make you have to strike it a little bit better.
Right.
No, I mean, honestly, you'd be better served just taking a few lessons, working that a little bit. From a weighting perspective, that's the biggest thing for the over-the-top player, making sure there's enough mass on the golf club, maybe going a little heavier than you have been.
In the shaft.
So if you look at, say, your 82 miles an hour swing speed with a 6-iron, and somebody might go, okay, 82 miles an hour, use a Nippon Modus 105. Well, how about, we get a little more weight in the hands and try and kind of, we want to stop the manipulation and throwing that club over. Let's see if we can feel the weight and kind of almost feel the mass behind you a little bit more.
Okay.
That would be my sort of feedback to the player.
And you did that for Sam in the high handicap iron fitting and helped him quite a bit.
Yep. Had to try and help Sammy feel the mass and keep it behind him so that the club shaft is shallow enough to stay behind him. So rather than squaring the club up by steepening and then pulling the handle up, he can shallow and rotate, which is exactly what's going to square the club up and get the club in a much better impact position. So I wouldn't try to get that out the club head.
It's not the club head itself, it should be more the weight of the shaft.
Yeah.
And then what about a swing weight aspect for Matt then? Should he be looking at playing a heavier swing weight to help him with that?
Yep, I think definitely having heavier mass, knowing that it's in the head specifically, knowing it's at the opposite end is going to help you really feel the full sort of the full weight of the mass on that.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Matt, let us know if that answered your question, bud. Thank you for chiming in there.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt.
Let us take one more. There was a good question in here. Oh, someone asked what our handicaps are, and I'm going to answer for you because you just shot a good round over the weekend. You are a +1 now?
Yeah, I mean, about that.
Plus
I
change?
kind of consider myself as like a round scratch.
Yeah,
You know, any given day. So I had a decent round a couple of weeks ago. I'd probably my best round of the year, shot 4 under
decent
at a
round,
nice course around here.
A very nice course.
Yeah.
Not an easy course either.
No, not an easy course. A couple of eagles in there, which was nice. Always helped the score. So
Yeah, you err on the side of plus. I am a 1.7 right now.
came down 4 shots this
I've come
year,
down 4 shots this
which
year,
is
been
really
crazy.
good. But you were never a 5 anyway.
Well,
Stand
dude,
by.
I had my struggles, believe me. Believe me. No, I was a 5 sometimes, and I was a 3 other times. But now I've come down significantly, which is nice.
Matt, that's appreciate that.
Oh,
little
good,
note.
okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yep,
glad
appreciate that.
you know answered your question for sure.
Uh,
David Graham from Glasgow, Scotland.
hello.
Unfortunately, we're not going to, Dave. We're not going to be over.
No, we won't be
unfortunately, in Loch Lomond. Unfortunately, we had to postpone that one to a later date.
Probably next year we'll go.
Next year, we would love to come back, probably in the early in the year next year for
Just
that one.
did not quite work out.
No.
Okay, officially, let's take one more. Let's find
That
one.
was an interesting one about the golf ball. Do you think they should make a standard? So,
Where'd you see that? Ah,
do you think they should standardise the golf ball for professionals?
You first.
I don't have a problem with them standardising it for the professionals.
Really?
I don't care. Honestly, for those guys, honestly, I just don't. As long as they don't affect the amateur golfer, they can do what they want for pros. Like, Formula One. I'm all for putting everyone in the same Formula One car. Let's see who the best driver is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think when it comes to that level, I'm okay with standardising equipment and leveling the
it
playing
back.
field a little bit, because I want to know who's the best player. I just also want the amateur golfer to get the absolute most enjoyment out of the game of golf. I want the ball to go far. I want to spin lots. I want it to do
Yeah.
all the things that they don't have time to practice to develop that skill set and just really enjoy the game. I think it drives. These types of things drive people away from the game. I heard when they made the groove change in wedges, it cost every company in golf tens of millions of dollars
100%.
in order to redo the molds and redo all this stuff. That's silly.
I know.
Who really has in the amateur game, the people who really matter in golf, who really has benefited from changing the groove rule?
No one.
No one, right?
Yeah.
So it's just tour pros and obviously their ability to maneuver it. So
Yeah.
that's
My
my
only
2
thing
cents.
is, I think the coolest thing about golf is that you're not going to be as good as Dustin Johnson day in and day out. However, if you play the same equipment, same golf course, you could pull off a shot similar to what a pro would hit.
Yeah.
So I think I've heard a lot of people, and I think this is a good argument. If the pros play a different ball,
Yep.
I personally would think to myself, I would want to play that ball because I know I'm not going to play on tour. I'm not naive enough to think that, but I want to be able to, I guess, benchmark how you're doing, kind of thing.
Right.
You want to play the same equipment and ball and golf course that the pros play, so you can see how you compare. Or I want to go to Pebble Beach and hit a shot like someone hit, kind of thing. I think that's where people don't like the splitting of it. Obviously, for amateurs, the ball should not change. I think that's for sure. But I think if you change it for the pros, then you have 2 games going on.
Yeah.
I think it makes watching golf a little less fun because now every shot someone hits, like say you hit a drive 250, you're playing with someone who's never hit a 250-yard drive.
Yeah.
Then all their playing partners are going to be like, oh, well, if you were using, the ball Tiger uses, it will only go 210. And then you have that nonsense that goes on. I don't like that part of it. I think they're going to have a bit of an issue with that.
It reminds me a bit like when the kind of banned the anchored putter.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
I get that people have a problem with anchoring a golf club to their body for stability and stuff, but no one who was anchoring anything was dominating the sport because of that rule. No. If you standardise the golf ball, somebody would be disadvantaged by that, right? So someone who benefits from the way their golf ball performs, however this golf ball gets standardised, it's going to suit some people and it's not going to suit others.
Yep.
And they could be disadvantaged by that as well. So, I hated hearing that Tim Clark literally had to give up the game.
I know, it's unbelievable.
But he was unable to make a living because he doesn't putt to a tour standard with a normal putter. End of his career.
Yeah, it is over. It's unbelievable.
That's wrong.
Well, it's also wrong that they allowed it for so long and then decided, oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
We don't like the ball thing. Leave the ball alone.
Leave the ball alone. I think the ball is, I mean, you know, as long as it's regulated well enough, which it's, you know, it's pretty close to. I mean, I'm sure the guy, you know, the manufacturers will keep finding ways to change aerodynamics. I mean, we've seen with AVX, for example, shallowing out that dimple pattern really lowers spin on the short irons, and you know, definitely enables people to hit it a little bit further if that's what you need. So yeah, I mean, I think I would leave it alone. I think they have to. I think that there's more required from a golf course architecture standpoint.
Totally agree.
To challenge the players a little bit. You know, I know Firestone is no longer used, but I always think of Firestone like, you know, big, long, you know, fairways that, you know, there's no, I hate to say it, but there's no challenge to Firestone other really than the length.
True.
You know, and then if you miss the fairway, you miss the fairway. But like, cut the fairways off at 270 and start them again at 330.
Or do something like that.
Something like that.
Make the rough longer, whatever.
It. I mean, you look at Carnoustie. They said it was playing 10% shorter this year because of how much the ball was running out. What did Molinari win it with?
I know.
-8?
Yeah.
So they're effectively played a
-9,
6,600-yard golf course in -8, -9-1. That shows you the architecture and the challenges you set the players is more important than any of this stuff.
Totally agree.
That's what I want to see. I want to see their skill set, you know, I want to see a real challenge of their skill set.
Yeah. Every other sport has changed. Like hockey, for example, is way different. Go watch hockey from 60 years ago. They're super slow.
Yeah.
The shots are super slow in comparison. Goalies are wearing equipment this big. Guys aren't even wearing masks.
I know.
That sport has completely changed.
Yeah.
You don't get people saying, "Oh, take the goalie's mask off and you know, make the sticks out of wood again." So I don't know. Don't do it to golf.
Thunder Mark II. I mean, Tiger mentioned the other day that his ball is the softest on tour. It absolutely is.
He's got his own ball,
I can
right?
confirm that.
Yeah.
It's a bit like when he was playing the 975D driver, and everyone said Tiger was using a skimmed face that was too hot.
Oh, okay.
He actually said that his drivers were actually, if anything, slightly slower in the rebound speed. Because,
really?
Yeah, because he was concerned about cracking them in his early days.
Really?
So he actually had a slightly thicker face in order to not do that. I mean, he just had excessive speed as a young guy. So 100%, no one spins the ball more with the irons than Tiger. No one.
True.
And that's a large part. Two things. His ball spins a ton, and his irons are very traditional lofts.
Very weak, right?
48-degree pitch and wedge, 31-degree 6-iron. You know, very traditional lofts. So you know, Mickelson, for example. Mickelson's been that guy who's always used long, low-lofted irons.
Oh, yes.
So he hits his irons a long way, but his lofts have always been a little bit juiced up. So
okay, we're closing with this one. We've got about 100 questions about the new RTX wedges from Cleveland. We don't have them yet. We will have them fairly soon.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them in person. Yep. They look really nice. I love the main thing I really like about them. I love the new design, but I really like that they're went back to the old sole designs. So
yeah, you mentioned that.
They're no longer going with the V-sole on every wedge. They're back to some more traditional. They have a V-sole option, but they're back to more traditional grinds, which I really like.
Yeah.
I saw that in a bunch of the tour guys that they'd kind of had some of that V-sole kind of shaved away and that type of thing. So I think that's going to be a really nice wedge. I know when Cleveland or Shrixon, they signed Ernie Els to represent the Exio line.
Yeah.
So they kind of brought him a bunch of clubs, and they actually had a Rotex 4 in the bag at the time.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, but it wasn't for him to have. It was just to kind of show him some of the stuff. So the guys do their presentation to Ernie, and they kind of look through stuff. He's like, love it, right? So they're packing up to go. So they're looking through the bag. No Rotex 4. Ernie had actually taken the club and hid it round the corner.
What a bugger.
And his plan was he wanted to keep it. So the guy's like, can't find this wedge. It was in prototype at the time. Ooh. I don't think it even had RTX 4 stamped on it.
That's funny.
But so when his manager said it, Ernie took it. He really wants to keep it. They're like, well, he can't. It's not. We don't have duplicates of it yet. So
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm just closing with. A couple people were asking about the Patreon page, guys. I'm going to post a link right now. And if you ever have questions about what we're doing on there or want to learn more about it, please feel free to email us, send us a message. We're more than happy to chat with you about it at any time.
Patreon is something that will, for us, really evolve. Trust us when we say one thing. We are continuously thinking of ways to bring more value to that community.
Every day.
Every single day. We want to bring, so we're even looking at, okay, you know, what's being offered through all the tiers that are sort of on offer, from bronze all the way up to diamond.
Yep.
And you know, we're trying to go, okay, let's add this into that. Let's add more value to those guys. How do we get in touch with, you know, I was saying to Matt today, okay, let's reach out to, you know, all the diamond members, and let's get a call going in the next week or so, next couple of weeks. I want to get actually on the phone personally with everyone who's a diamond member. And get talking to them. Get the platinum members. We want to get all their sort of YouTube, all their TrackMan or GC Quad numbers sent over to us. We want to see what you guys are up to, see what the problems you're having in your game. So
there's lots going on there. We got lots of big plans for what we want. The gear system, which we talked about, has been funded by Patreon already. So we did get a couple questions about what process or how far along we are. Good news, bad news, it's a bit further behind just from scheduling. We're going to have Michael Neff, who's the creator. He's actually going to come see us.
The main man.
So we want to film a bunch of videos with him, which is going to be amazing. It's just obviously we need to schedule his time, and he's going to come see us from California.
He lives in Seattle.
Okay, so he's coming from the West Coast. So that's obviously going to push things back a little bit, but in the end, the value of having him come and see us, talk about the system, we're going to film all that kind of stuff. But it is coming. So anything else?
No.
Any other news?
Lots. Any other news? What's new? PGA Show. We have something really cool in the pipeline for the PGA Show this year.
I didn't think you wanted to tease that.
Is that too much?
It's never too much.
Never
too much.
You're always seeing upper skirt anyway. So it's, you know, we've got something really cool lined up for the PGA Show. This has never been done. I can say that. No. It's never been done. We're going to do something that's kind of maybe a prelude to what we will eventually do full time, but this is going to be really neat. The benefit of the PGA Show, guys, is, you know, we have everyone from the industry in one place at one time. No better opportunity to take advantage of all the great minds in the golf industry. I mean, this is, you know, we are at the start of August talking about something that's happening in the end of January. So, you know, this is the level of kind of planning that's going to go into this whole thing. It's going to be exceptional. So it's good.
That's all you're going to tell them? Yeah. We want to do something that's going to be a little teaser. I want to have a little TXG studio at the PGA Show.
There'll definitely be a TXG studio at the PGA Show for sure.
And we want to do some things that tie into what we have planned with Patreon. We want to do some really cool testing with some gadgets that you can learn about on the Patreon page. But we have some, when and where. It's always in Orlando.
Orlando,
the Orange County Convention Center.
Yeah, the Convention Center.
Last week of January.
Yeah, yep.
You can't go unless you have a little industry connection. Is that right?
Industry connection, or, you know, sometimes if you've got, you know, I've got a little insider connection, maybe your club or something can send you as a representative. But mostly it is a sort of a golf industry personnel sort of show. Yeah. It's the largest gathering of you know, PGA professionals and kind of industry minds. It's such a great week. We normally go for the full week. We normally go the Sunday beforehand. We've a bunch of days that we go to. You know, we go to the Accra Day. That always kicks it off for us. The Accra Golf Day, which is, you know, by most people's understanding, the largest gathering of the top club fitters in the world.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's really good day. So, you know, it's kind of one of those. Everyone meets for breakfast about 9 o'clock. We you know, get a PK session with the guys at Accra on their new line for the season. Then we maybe break up and we chat about some of the new kind of innovation that they've got going on. Then we go onto the range and test it. And what that tends to do is it gets kind of, you know, everyone kind of bumps into each other. Normally, you know, there's lots of guys from all around Asia, Europe, and North America that we don't see each other that often. So we end up kind of getting together and chatting industry stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. So, you know, really, I'd love to document some of that stuff for the YouTube channel and for Patreon next year.
We'll definitely do. I mean, we're going to be at the show. We'll be filming
100%. And you know, we were chatting today about, you know, the way this has grown. We we need to, we're going to grow our staff and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So we'll have someone down with us who, because Matty and I want to be on the right side of the camera, so we need someone who's able to kind of do that with us.
Keep an eye on the red light for me would be good.
Absolutely, we need this man hitting balls.
Set up
you
a couple lights for me.
Yeah, he's my iron Byron, so it's great.
Marco asked a generous question if I'm going to try to qualify for any professional events. Marco, it's very generous of you. I'm very far away from that good of a golfer.
Well, you wouldn't. The other thing is as well, this man's work schedule is off the charts. So, but I think that would be a great goal for whether it's next year, maybe even 2020. Try and get you into some kind of Canadian Open qualifier.
I'd love to play in so there's a Ontario Mid-Am, they call it here, and so regional amateur events. I'd love to play in something like that, but I actually, at my club, a lot of guys that compete in it and are competitive are a lot better golfers than I am at this point, so I use that as my barometer. I think eventually I would like to do it. Honestly, golf for me is, at this point, 99% recreational. I love to play. I'm probably not the most competitive with it anymore. I was when I was younger. But needless to say, anyone that plays golf for a living, anyone that's even trying to, would absolutely wipe the floor with me any day of the week. I mean, I'm not that good at golf, let's be honest.
I
appreciate the thought, though.
Matt's consistency and a ball striking standpoint, you guys can see that's pretty much tour level. I mean, and I'm not exaggerating by that. You hit all the shots those guys hit. But the element that makes you a tour pro is often less physical, more mental.
So much so.
The mental application of keeping a round together, making 2 birdies and really chasing to make 3 more. It's a very difficult thing. It's a very interesting mindset. And to be honest, Matt could have a real good go at attaining a serious high level because he has so much game. But the difference would be Matt would have to drop everything he has from a work schedule standpoint.
Quit your life.
Quit your work life, and you'd have to redevelop those kind of that mental mindset.
It's
towards
a full-time job, and you know what? At the end of it, after 5 years, I might actually just completely fail at it. That's the reality of it. There's hundreds of thousands of people trying to play pro golf, and the reality is
hard.
There's a tiny percentage that make it,
Yeah.
And that's what makes golf so amazing is the ones that do succeed. I mean, it's truly unbelievable that someone can make a living playing golf. It really is.
It's remarkable. I mean, the players that I've had the opportunity to work with over the years, and I've worked with many players who are significantly better than the tour players I've worked with.
Really? From like a ball striking perspective.
100%. I mean, honestly, you hit it way better than the early version of Ian Poulter that I saw on the European Tour. Like that early version of Ian Poulter on the European Tour, and I mean, people used to snigger behind Poulter's back at how bad he used to hit it. Like I remember watching him on the range at Loch Lomond at the Scottish Open, and he's trying to hit 4-irons, and he's catching them a bit fat, and like dirt's hitting him in the face and stuff like that. He's hitting these shots heavy, and he was always so shallow in his angle of attack. I remember watching him several rounds. He couldn't hit it out of the rough. If it was a long club, he hit it out of the rough. He couldn't flight it. Someone like that, I have so much admiration for how much he's squeezed out his golf game.
Absolutely. He's the perfect example of a strong mental, mental game.
And belief and kind of never giving up on your true goals. I mean, he was always unbelievable with the putter and very good with the wedges. And he developed the rest of his game over time. He incrementally got better. And you saw that, when his form fell off a few years ago, he rededicated himself, started working with Pete Cowan. Most of you guys have probably heard that name. Right. And he started working with Pete Cowan again. He tightened up the fundamentals of his long game, which is his weakest point. And all of a sudden he's a tour winner again this year. He's already, they're talking about him being, Mr. Ryder Cup again this year. The one that they have to pick him. I mean, he Torbjorn Olsen, who's a star, just pushed him out anyway from that last spot on the points list. But he's an absolute star. He's fantastic.
If he missed every cut all year, I still think he would probably play well in the Ryder Cup. Anyway.
I know.
He probably would, right?
He just finds a different level within himself, and that's the stuff that's not physical.
No.
When you're able to dig that, out of your gut. That's just in you. I mean, I've been at these Ryder Cups. I was at Celtic Manor in 2010 when Poulter was just a man possessed. I was at Medina in 2012.
Were you?
Yeah, I've been to 4 Ryder Cups, and I've just seen that guy on a level of performance that is just different. He gets possessed.
We got a question about swing analysis of me and you. So
Well, we share a coach, so that wouldn't be too difficult.
I was going to gently introduce that. So when I started working with you guys, you've got a little partnership with Larry Chung at TXG that he was doing a little teaching here. That's I think it's developed over the last 7-8 months. You've seen lots of kind of mutual referrals, I guess.
Well,
right?
actually, a bit before. So literally, when I was, TXG was a concept. And I was just thinking of it. One of the things I thought of was, okay, who are the people I would like to associate TXG with and would like to have as our ambassadors.
Yep.
So, there's only so much we can do within four walls. Out with that in the golf community, we wanted to try and pick.
Every time, I know. Travel bus.
We've got another question.
One more question.
Well, to be honest, we enjoy it. That's the truth.
And it's more like 20 minutes later every time.
I know. So when we kind of had Larry, I had Larry in mind as somebody who was A, very talented, and B, Larry just he at the time was just starting out his teaching career. I saw him doing all the right things to develop, and he's a bit younger than myself, but I saw lots of kind of me and guys like myself and in Larry, and I thought you absolutely deserve a chance to kind of be on a platform. So he became a TXG ambassador. We got him a full set of clubs. And we worked really closely with him, and that relationship is kind of really developed over the last 2 years. So we love having him as an ambassador. Lindsay, who you guys have seen on the channel from the TPT Fit.
Yep, that's right.
Lindsay is a TXG ambassador as well. Lindsay Knowlton, phenomenal teacher and a triply phenomenal person.
She's a really good person.
Really good player, as well. So
she hits it great.
That's fantastic. So. It's people like Larry and Lindsay and there's a few others that are ambassadors for us that that match who we are trying to be.
So we do plan to probably get Larry in for a little vid at some point.
Yes,
and,
we
do a
want
little coaching / fitting, maybe a little collaboration.
Yeah, so big plug for Larry. Larry Chung Golf.
Yeah, check out his YouTube channel, which I'm helping him with.
Can we do a little link to Larry's?
Yeah, I'll link it right now.
Larry Chung Golf. So Larry has a bunch of he has a mini series of informative YouTube videos. Matt is
been helping him produce them,
helping him behind the camera.
That's kind of how we started working together. Larry asked me. Obviously, I've got a history of kind of developing YouTube channels in the golf space, apparently. So we chatted initially, and I thought, okay, let me give you a hand with that. And at the time, I think this was probably in April, May. I was struggling with my swing, and I thought, why don't we kind of trade services? Give me a hand with my swing a bit, because I'm just curious about kind of what you've been working on in terms of your philosophy.
Definitely.
So he's doing a really good job. I've helped him kind of produce some of the videos and get him the right gear and stuff to produce them. So I think he's just kind of dipping his toes in the water in terms of YouTube. But he's doing a really good job. So I'm going to link his channel right here for you guys. It's definitely worth checking out.
He's a really smart guy. Guys, and definitely check it out. One thing he's great at as well is being interactive. So if you guys watch a few videos, you've got any questions, leave him some comments.
He's very interactive.
If you're in the GTA and you need some swing tuition, he's based up in Markham, and kind of services the GTA sort of. And honestly, go on his Instagram. He always updates his Instagram, and you'll see the type of players he works with and improves. And
I see these two.
Yeah, he works with these two bums, and we are both really happy with how we're swinging.
I've improved a lot.
Yeah, we don't have that much time to play golf, but it helps that our golf swings are more technically proficient
100%.
in order to play better when we do get out. The last thing with the amount of golf we play is get out there and you start slashing it about and you go, yeah, this sucks.
Time to go home.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's nice to go out there and play well, but that starts with a fundamentally sound golf swing, and Larry helps us a bunch with that. So
so hopefully we'll do a little stuff on that at some point in the near future. But I linked his channel there, guys, in the live chat for you if you're interested.
Yeah. Please, go subscribe to his channel. Go check it out, and go and check out the community that he has on all social platforms.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Okay. Why don't we wrap it up? And this time I mean it. We're actually going to wrap it up. I did say that at 6:40 local time.
Yeah, I think you gave me the nudge around 6:49 that we're going to wrap up.
If I wanted to wrap it up, I have the button in front of me.
That's exactly it. We just
could have just done it if I wanted to.
Yes, lots of good questions tonight.
Yeah.
So, and
Thanks
to be
for
honest,
tuning in.
a bunch of questions we never we never got to. So
Yeah, we appreciate everyone that tuned in. We try to get to as many, but the
Yeah.
good news, bad news is we've got hundreds. We do our best, but
we do try.
always leave us in the one after that gets posted.
Yeah,
Leave us more, we'll answer.
If there's anything that you guys really need an answer to, and if there's something you want to find out about, we get to them. So leave them. Yeah, as Matt said, once the video actually is uploaded, leave those questions in there, and we'll get to those. We'll get to those ones.
Okay, I'm going to promise it because it will motivate me to do it.
Okay.
You will see the contest announcement tonight.
Ah.
Or today, depending on where you are.
We're excited
this
about
morning.
this one. This is good.
It's too good. I'll do it when I get home. It's too good. We'll see you guys soon.
Yep.
Hopefully do another Q&A in a couple weeks. We're going to probably, we've filmed a lot of videos this week, so we'll probably take a little break, maybe play some golf next week. Something crazy like that.
You'll probably see us next week.
Probably see us next week. Well, you will see us next week because we'll have scheduled videos.
Yeah, we're kind of.
I'll be wearing this shirt. You'll know it's from this week.
Yeah, so true, isn't it? Yeah. No, I mean we enjoy doing the videos and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. So it's all good.
Lots of good stuff coming. We'll see you guys soon.